The Google Pixel is like Quasimodo, beautiful on the inside, but saddled by the crippling force of nature. Or Google's design team. But besides it being ugly and bulky in the hand, it's what's on the inside that sets the Pixel apart from its competition. It's running what's called the Pixel Launcher, and essentially it's a very round, very uniform version of Android Nougat. And apart from it being a little rough around the edges at times, it's a great new look for Android, and I could totally see it appealing to iPhone users, which essentially is what Google is trying to do with this phone. It's more intuitive, looks more friendly, and I love the new app drawer. Another thing that's new with the software is what's called Google Assistant, and as of right now, it is exclusive to the Pixel. But unfortunately, it works the way I expected it to. Like Siri or Cortana, it's great if you want to hands-free check the weather or set an alarm, but after a few days, you just forget it's there. One cool thing about the Google Assistant is that it's contextually aware. So if you say want to know what the weather is like in Philadelphia tomorrow, and then after that you ask what's it going to be like the next day, it's going to pull up the information for Philadelphia without you having to say it again. Cool, yes. Revolutionary? No. Finally, Google tried to rip off Apple with 3D Touch. But this form of 3D Touch only works on the app icons on the home screen. And I mean, honestly, again, I forgot about it the second day. Flipping over to the back of the phone, it's ugly. There's no way around that. But one redeeming factor is the lack of camera hump. And while we're on that subject, let's talk about that so-called best camera on a smartphone. And hey, I'll straight up tell you, it's one of the best smartphone cameras I've ever used. Low light pictures are particularly great. They tend to come out a little grainy sometimes, but even in pitch black environments, you can still make out a lot of detail. In terms of daytime shots, it's very color accurate, tends to over sharpen sometimes, but overall it's a really great image that's going to be pretty hard to beat. I can't say that it's the best smartphone camera on the market just because some phones tend to be a little bit better in some environments and some situations. Like in my opinion, the iPhone 7 does indoor photography a little bit better than the Pixel, but on the whole, the Pixel camera is a really top-notch camera. I want to mention a few things that stood out to me on the Pixel. One being the white and blue models of the phone with the white fronts. On most phones like the iPhone or really any phone with a white bezel, there's usually a pretty large black gap in between the screen and the actual white bezel. On the Pixel, that gap is virtually gone. Upon first look, it almost looks fake. That's how close the gap is. Another little minute attention to detail is the texture on the power button. This is really great because it allows you to distinguish which one's the power button and which one's the volume rocker. Now that's something that carried over from the Nexus line. But what didn't carry over from the Nexus line is the front-facing speakers. Instead, we now have a really cheap sounding, almost tinny speaker on the bottom. And while I'm galloping through the what the forests, this phone is not waterproof. I mean, even Apple is doing it. Apple. End of the day, this is a really great software experience that has been optimized on some pretty lacking hardware. Now, this is not to say that this is a bad phone. In fact, I don't think it's a bad phone. I think it's a really great phone. It's just, I think that you should look at other options, like the LG V20, which is also running Android Nougat, before you put all of your hard-earned cash on the Pixel. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. Stay tuned and take it easy. Bye.